G1NBC here. We're with John Tatar, a Libertarian candidate for Michigan governor. John, what is one of your top priorities if elected?
These would be to return the teachers back to the original retirement program that they were given when they signed into becoming a teacher, when I signed into becoming a teacher, because I believe that, we worked for a lower wage, prevailing wage over what every other public person with a master's or a bachelor's degree would work for. And what happened is that the government or the legislature spent the $29 billion that was earmarked for the retirement program, and now they want to be bailed out by the teachers by accepting a 401k program. You got to understand that Michigan has been running with the regular retirement program for many, many, many years, and now all of a sudden over the last 5 or 6 years things have changed. So this is really a slap against the public school system, and you can't expect great things out of the public school system unless you fund the public school system.
Around 2 months ago, there was talk about constitutional carry in the state of Michigan. What are your thoughts on that matter?
That we have a right to carry, and it should not be licensed as it's been in the past, where people have to pay for licensing. I believe that's revenue enhancement, number one, and I don't believe that's in the benefit of the people that are interested in carrying concealed or carrying open.
A lot of talk recently. There's petitions going around. Last year there was a failed attempt at legalization of marijuana. Then there's other people that say they feel that sentencing guidelines are too harsh. And what are your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I believe that marijuana should be definitely decriminalized in Michigan. Marijuana actually is an herb, and besides not only the marijuana part, which is a very small part of the hemp plant, the hemp industry should be allowed to flourish in Michigan. We do know that hemp is used for a lot of other things besides marijuana by itself, and hemp has been illegal in Michigan, and that needs to change also. So I believe in decriminalizing. People should not be put in jail for using something of that nature when they are in their own home or own premises, and if they're not causing damage or injury to any other person in the process of the use of marijuana.
Just to clarify, so people don't get the wrong idea, could you give everybody an idea of the difference between legalization and decriminalization?
The problem that we have right now is anybody caught with a joint or something for their own personal consumption, whether they're using it or not in the car, but it's in the car, they end up with a jail sentence or serious fines. That has to stop. Because as you know, you can have alcohol in your car as long as it's not open. Well, you ought to be able to have marijuana in your car as long as you're not smoking it while you're driving. We don't want to put other people at risk in this state, but at the same token, we do not want to put people in jail for the use of that kind of a product in their own personal home, because they have a right to do whatever they want to do in their own personal home.
So you honorably served your country and are a United States veteran. Would you care to let everyone know about that?
I served in the Army Reserves for 31 years. I am a veteran of Desert Storm. I served in the Medical Service Corps at various command positions, various staff positions. Most of the time I was stateside. Matter of fact, I was always stateside. I never went overseas, even for Desert Storm. I was at Fort Sam Houston Fort Sam Houston at the Academy of Health Sciences for the purpose of creating medical service units.
John, during your time of service for your country, anything you saw or experienced, has that changed any of your views or strengthened them?
It's actually a lot of the wars that I was connected with, starting with Vietnam, even though I was not in Vietnam, but I was in the reserve unit at that time. And of course, Desert Storm, I realized that most of those wars In fact, as far I'm going to claim that the war in Desert Storm was really a television war. There weren't very many casualties on the American side. We were out there using and testing weaponry on the Iraqis, and so I have a very I have a big problem with all of the wars that have been created by our government for one purpose or another. And we know that most of the wars are not to protect our country and our borders from the enemy.
On what is your favorite section of the United States Constitution?
They're all great, but the Bill of Rights is the most important part of the Constitution. And if you wanted to single me out to any one particular point, we understand that the First Amendment is protected by the Second Amendment. And so I believe that the Second Amendment is the amendment that this government and the federal government has no power to change or adjust or regulate.